Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Crane, and I am the Director of Programming at the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. And you are listening to Global Industry Spotlight, a conversational series focused on providing resources and insight for the creative entrepreneur. We are streaming live out of Comcast Business Startup Studio, a room designed for Chicago's small business community, located at 2112, Chicago's first music, film, and tech incubator. The Global Industry Spotlight today is on co-founder and COO at Future Proof, Aimy Steadman. Future Proof are creators of BeatBox Beverages, the world's tastiest portable party punch, one of the best-selling US RTD cocktails, recently awarded one of Inc. magazine's top 5,000 fast-growing privately owned companies in America. Future Proof is a disruptor in the beverage alcohol market that provides innovative solutions that drive incremental profit in high-growth categories. Aimy also serves on the following nonprofit boards: Naturally Austin, Naturally Network, and Entrepreneurs Organization Austin. Steadman has also received a handful of notable national as well as global accolades, most recently Austin Chambers A-List 2020, in addition to being featured in a recent book entitled The Immigrant Hustle. We are very excited to have Aimy today. Let's bring her into the conversation.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. Looking at what BeatBox is doing and just everything, it's a very exciting product. So congratulations to you and
Thank
your
you so
team
much.
on launching it. I think just to kind of get started, you're an entrepreneur. If you could just give a little bit of your background up until kind of starting BeatBox, and then we'll talk about you running the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So you alluded to a little bit in my intro, and I'm an immigrant to the US. My family and I moved to Texas from the Middle East when I was about 10 years old. And I grew up watching my parents be entrepreneurs. They had different businesses in different areas. And when I went to business school in 2011, I was part of the entrepreneurship club there. I was originally had like a website and online marketing company. And that's where I met my co-founders for BeatBox Beverages. They were like, hey, we want to take boxed wine and make it into something our generation actually loves. What do you think? And I was like, well, I can make us a website. So that was kind of how it all got started.
Fantastic. And so let's fast forward it to today, right? So it has grown. You have built a company. Can you take us a little bit through just kind of the beginning of BeatBox, right? Like, so you build a website. You're starting to create this idea. What are the steps that has kind of led you, or the important steps that you think if an entrepreneur is watching today, what would be helpful for them to kind of think about when they're starting to build, like a CPG brand?
For sure. So, when we first started it, we, ripped off the packaging off of Franzia bags and boxes. We made our own unique sort of mixes out of every sort of mixer you could think of, and vodka and all these different things. We went on 99designs.com and, got some artists to help us play out the packaging. I was a radio DJ. My co-founders are also obsessed with music. So we wanted to create a brand that was all about music. And secretly, I just wanted my job to be going to concerts and music festivals. So I was like, this is the perfect business for me.
Right.
So we just tested out all those different prototypes. And we had a lot of people give us feedback on the product in the early days, to where we kind of evolved it to the first product, which was a 5-liter bag and box, a radio looking box that, said BeatBox on it, which if you saw our Shark Tank episode, that's the box that's on the show.
Right.
But as we've grown the company, and just, my message to all entrepreneurs is like that customer feedback, especially in consumer products, is so important. Like, I spent so many hours in the early days doing tastings in stores, testing out the prototypes before we even launched anywhere. And even today, like our biggest thing that we do is like we have a Discord for all of our fans. We have over 2,000 people in there that are constantly talking to us about, new ideas for the product and places to take it, and, awesome music festivals to go to and that whole thing. We have a big, social media following, and we use that to communicate with people that, use BeatBox, drink BeatBox all the time. So that's my message to entrepreneurs, is just be really obsessed about your customer and constantly evolving your product to meet their needs. There's also, the product that we created is well loved by consumers, but I'm in an industry in alcohol beverage which is very regulated. You have to go
Right.
through distributors, you have to go
Right.
through retailers. And so there was a whole nother part of the business where we actually had to learn not just to create a product that customers wanted, the consumers wanted, but a product that worked well for retailers as well as for those wholesalers and actually made their lives easier as well. So we had to do some things on the business side to get that done.
And did you have to research that yourself, or did you find mentors or people to kind of walk you through that process?
Yeah, so I was 23 when we started this company. So it's not like I had, 20 years of alcohol beverages
Right, right, of
industry
course.
experience. So yeah, literally everything we had to learn. So I would call all kinds of other founders,
Hmm.
join groups, like what you guys have here with the program and building
Hmm.
community is so important for entrepreneurs because every day you have to do something you've never done before. And so it's really important to have, those key people around you that can support you. You mentioned earlier, I'm part of two groups, Naturally Network and Entrepreneurs Organization. And both of those are very relevant to me because in Naturally Network, that's all consumer product companies that are trying to be more sustainable and
Right.
inclusive.
Very
And so
important.
like-minded, founders, but also professionals, they don't have to be a founder to be in that group. That, if I have questions about manufacturing or insurance or hiring employees or whatever, there are many, many thousands of other people in that group that work specifically in food or beverage or consumer products that can help me. And then Entrepreneurs Organization, it's a little bit different because it's all different industries, but it's only founders and entrepreneurs. And so that one, it's more of like, okay, I'm fundraising. I have a
Right.
problem with a key executive, or I have a problem with something going on, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, everybody kind of has those issues. And so it's set up to build community and so we can all reach out to each other about those things as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, and something that we always try to stress here, at 2112 and CCE, is that you really need to rely on your community and
Yeah.
find your community when growing your business, because doing it on your own is, one, just exhausting, but it's just to be able to kind of guide you through those steps, right? And check in with people. Is this the right thing that I'm doing? What direction do you think that I should go in? And I think for a lot of products, the creation of it, the packaging, all that is very exciting. But then how do you actually, approach wholesale and get it into stores, right? That is, a lot of things that from a creative standpoint, most people don't know.
Right.
Um,
Which
so
we're still figuring out every day.
right, right, and it changes all the time. I think I recently heard that Whole Foods had changed kind of their approach to having local products in their stores,
Hmm.
and how the buyers were more local, and now it's actually just more national. So it seems like you're kind of constantly having to shift. One question I had for you: I love the association with music, right? Beatbox. Um, how have you kind of connected the product to music? I see on your Instagram and that you're at festivals. Has that been a big push for you? I mean, it looks like a great festival drink, right? It's like hydrating, low sugar, and high alcohol content, like perfect for
Perfect.
a
Yeah.
hot summer festival. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we developed it for, all kinds of fun occasions, but
Right.
absolutely music festivals too. We always say, like, your experience drinking like a red wine or something in a Napa Valley winery is
Right.
like drinking beatbox at a music festival. It's the perfect place for it. You're going to have an amazing time and hopefully tell your friends about it when you get home. And so when we're building a brand, especially in food and beverage, you want to prioritize opportunities where people can get to know you, get to know your brand, but also try it. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things we can do online, but at the end of the day, people want to see what it tastes like, right? So these opportunities at events and music festivals, we can have, thousands of people be able to try the product potentially for the first time. And then when they go home, from the event, it's in the local convenience store and grocery store. And so it really serves as like a really big sort of brand marketing initiatives for us, but we're still selling into them. So it's a, good return on investment for companies that, are trying to get out there because it's a great brand experience. People can actually try it at the event. And then a lot of times, you're paying a sponsorship fee for the music festival, but they're also buying your product to sell it there in the case of alcohol. So it's not like it's a full expense. There's also some money coming in as well.
And how do you capture just like the market research, I mean, besides just talking to people, like how do you figure out like, oh, this is really working? Are you checking, are people doing hashtags? Are they tagging you? Or, I think I probably in a grocery store or a smaller store setting, there's a lot of one-on-one uh,
Mhm.
feedback, but can you talk a little bit about different ways that you guys have approached, market research?
For sure. So, obviously, when we were building our business plan, we were in business school. So, we had access to like Mintel and all these industry
Mhm.
reports and things like
Mhm.
that. So, we definitely looked at those. But, my whole thing is this is a product that was authentically created of my generation. It's something that's very authentic to me and my co founders. And,
Right.
we go to music festivals, we go to pool parties. Like, this isn't something I need to read about in a report. This is something that
Right.
I'm living every day. So that's part of it. But, what I mentioned earlier about listening to our customers, we have a QR code on our packaging that says, hey, come talk to us about this. And so we're always driving people to the conversation, whether it's on our social media or joining our Discord or just finding one of our people at an event and saying, hey, this is my feedback, whatever. Like, that is the most important thing. And so that's what we try and focus on. I still look at, industry newsletters and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
but at this point, I'm 11 years into this business now. It's not
Right.
something I've just been doing for a few months. So I feel like I could almost like, tell you what the report's going to say before it comes out, because a lot of times those things are done by people that are looking backwards, not live or looking forward. And for me, in alcohol, for example, and even in music, like taking inspiration from other industries, like you can kind of see what the trends are in art and fashion and culture and non-alcoholic beverages and kind of predict what's going to be happening in alcohol, since it's kind of like a slower industry in a lot of ways. So,
Right.
we kind of lean on a lot of different things. And, I'm very proud of my marketing co-founder, Brad Schultz. He's been doing brand marketing and growth type projects, his whole career. And so we're really fortunate to have a great leader there, as well as our VP of Global Marketing, Zach Francis.
Yeah. And just to shift a little bit, you talked about sustainability as being an important part of the product. I think, for myself, who has more expertise in the event industry, um, that's not really talked about. Creating sustainable events. However, when
Mhm.
I've spoken with global partners, in Europe, that is a huge topic in terms of how do we build sustainable festivals, shows, programs. Um, so, can you talk about how you've incorporated that into Beatbox and where
Mhm.
you see the future of that, in the industry, in the beverage industry, and in general?
For sure. Well, just like being really fun and connecting with our consumers, like this is something that is authentic to me and my co-founders. I've been
Mhm.
freaked out about the climate crisis since I was a teenager and
Right.
used to be part of, the recycling club at my high school and things like that. So
Mhm.
personally, it's very important to me. But it's important to everybody of our generation and the generation next, that's coming next, because we're the ones that are going to deal with this more than anybody, right? And it's our job, I think, now that millennials are business leaders, to move the ball forward as much as we can for the next generation. I think previously sustainability was always kind of put on the shoulders of people, like individuals, like recycle your cartons,
Right.
buy eco-friendly, but really the responsibility should be on the business side. People can only buy what's available or do what's available. But as an industry in beverage, we can work and say, hey, we want a completely sustainable beverage package, and we will invest with our dollars to make that happen. And so through Naturally Network, tackling things like carton recycling in the US, we just
Mhm.
started a group of all different carton companies that want to help this and solve it together, not just one individual carton or one individual brand. And so that's really, I think, if we have any shot on getting this planet to a place where it works for all people and all the living things that are on it, business needs to take a huge step in looking at it and making it more eco-friendly. So the way that looks at Beatbox is all of our supply chain is designed to be the most carbon efficient. I do care a lot about waste and things like that, but the most time sensitive crisis we have is the climate crisis. And so using the least amount of carbon as possible in our supply chain. We're also looking at doing offsets so we can be completely carbon neutral. And then on the waste side, we were working on, recycling in the US for cartons. We're also a
Right.
completely plastic neutral company, which means as much waste as we put in the world via plastic, as much plastic as I use in my products, but also my business operations and at music festivals and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
we remove from nature the same weight of that plastic every quarter. So we pay, we already have in our budget to take care of that. And so I think it's really important that businesses factor that into their budget, because if you don't, you're just putting it on the next generation or somebody else to clean it up for you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's absolutely essential that the business owners and the founders are the ones that kind of leading this charge. And it's great to hear about companies like yours that are that is that is a core value of Beatbox. And at the same time, it's fun, right? It's like you can create a sustainable
Yeah,
product that focuses on that, but it's also you also can go out and have a lot of fun.
right.
Um,
We have our product's about half as carbon. If we have use about half as carbon as your average alcohol beverage product, and so
right.
I feel proud about that. Just I feel like anybody that makes stuff, right? You really have to be concerned about it, and so I just feel much more proud of my company knowing that we're doing so much better than every other company that's out there in the industry.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. So right now, what's next for Beatbox? Are there any kind of exciting things happening? I see you have a ton of amazing flavors and things happening. So why don't you just talk a little bit about, what the next year looks like?
For sure. I mean, we're still in only about 6% of all the stores we can be in this
Right.
country. And so, just like any independent brand, that's my laser focus, is just getting into more stores. We've done product development, always coming out with new flavors and fun things there. But at this point, it's really just trying to get our product in as many places as possible. Because right now we're going very viral. We're on social. We're, at all these music festivals. We've got about 100 music festivals this year. So come dance with us at one of them. But basically our biggest problem is we have 3,000 people coming to the store locator every day and commenting and asking, where do I find this product? And so it's really up to me and my team to go get it out there everywhere in the US and kind of show the business side, like the retail buyers and those people, like, this is what's happening. You really need to have this product in your stores. And so that's what we're working on this year. We're on a race to get to 100 million in revenue and be the biggest RTD cocktail in the country, because it's absolutely in front of us. And it's just kind of, we just want to get there as fast as we can.
Yeah,
The people need their beatbox.
they do. I know you can see on the IG page people being like, "Well, when are you guys going to bring it to New York, or when is it going to be,
Mhm.
in Alabama?" And so
Yeah.
the demand is there.
You'd think the hardest part is making a product that people really want, right? But then
Right.
you got to actually scale it and distribute it everywhere. So we're just running as fast as we can, and yeah, we're super excited. Our latest flavor is mango.
I
It's
saw that.
quickly becoming my newest favorite as well.
Cool.
So hopefully people can try that out.
And just two more questions for you. Um, you know, when a company like yours is trying to get into other um, expand and get into more stores, are there kind of just a couple distributors out there that you need to maintain relationships, or are there a ton of distributors? I mean, do you feel like the industry in general is kind of old and needs to be updated or localized? Just kind of quick thoughts on that.
Yeah, alcohol distribution, the way it's set up is usually you either go through like a wine and spirits
Right.
wholesaler, and then you have, a partner for your state. But for us, we actually go through beer wholesalers, which means we usually have several companies in every state that we're working with. And so it's very localized, but it's also a lot of, just keeping up with different teams and things like that. So
Right.
we really appreciate our wholesale partners, and we're trying to be their best brand that's in their portfolio, so that they'll put us out there, just as much as some of the big companies they're working with.
Great. And so, last question: what music festival are you excited about, or show you're excited about attending this year?
Well, I may be showing my age a little bit, but we're sponsoring When We Were Young Fest in Vegas that has all the old school pop punk and emo bands. And so I'm
Nice.
really excited about that one in October. I think I'll also be coming to Chicago for Riot Fest that's happening, but Beatbox is not quite sponsoring Riot Fest yet. Hopefully we'll get there soon.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, Amy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. Just a great conversation. hopefully we get to meet in person sometime soon. Wishing you and your team the best, in terms of getting to stores and any help that we can have, let us know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. We'd love to work with all your musician and creative entrepreneurs and see what we can have some fun together. Do
yeah,
some cool events.
absolutely. All right.
Nice
Thank you so
meeting you.
much.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. What a great conversation. Aimy Steadman is creating, the future of alcoholic drinks, sustainable companies, fun, hitting music festivals. I mean, we're talking about, the next generation of up and coming companies. It's exciting to talk to people who have built it, who have done it, and who are trying to grow, and also trying to, make sure that we maintain a focus on the environment and our footprint on this world. Um, Again, my name is Daniel Crane. I am the program director for the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. And this was another episode of the Global Industry Spotlight, a conversational series focused on providing resources and insight for the creative entrepreneur. We are streaming out of the Comcast Business Startup Studio located at 2112, Chicago's first music, film, and tech incubator. Thank you to Comcast Business and Shore for providing the tools necessary to make our programming possible. Visit cceglobal.org to register for free workshops offered by our partners, and find us on Instagram and Facebook. Let us know if you have any questions. We're building communities and connecting entrepreneurs to the right networks for success. We're excited to hear about new companies coming up. So if you have anything that you're building or you have any questions, please reach out to us. We would be happy to help you out. Wishing everyone a great day, and we will see you soon. Ciao.